Let me ask you a question. Does anyone believe the Department of Defense is too important to get funding cuts? I wish this was true, but in today's economy, it's looking at massive cuts across the board. This leaves a lot of Americans, including myself, wondering if they will still be able to protect America. My name is James Mason, and I'm currently working in the Air Force Civil Engineering Asset Management section. I've been in the military for more than 20 years, and I've always been told, do more with less. I've personally seen the Air Force come to a breaking point in many circumstances because we just couldn't do what we needed to do. Today I'm going to talk to you about the costs driving the DoD to change how it does business to include how it's identified, how it can be reduced, and how it will take commitment to operate our military bases. Let us start with what is driving changes needed to keep bases operating. The DoD infrastructure is getting older, and cost to maintain facilities is getting higher. I have some visual aids here that I tried to put on the monitor, but my camera was unable to pick it up because of the brightness of the TV. So I apologize. I will try to embed this into my actual speech so you can kind of look at them and go through them with me. But the first one is the budget cuts and energy, as far as how we're going to be funded all the way through 17, which is going down every single year. So as you can see, DoD is facing massive budget cuts and increased energy costs. The cuts will reduce manning at all installations, which will decrease our actual capabilities. Also, with the funds, training is going to be limited. This means that our craftsmen that are actually performing repairs at our facilities are no longer going to be able to repair them because we don't have enough training. Also, finally, with limited budgets, we will not have the resources to actually make the repairs that we normally do. DoD energy costs have not gone down, and this is a huge drain on installation budget. The electrical cost with aging buildings continues to go up. Water usage should not be overlooked because the cost to treat it has continued to rise also. Now let's take a look at what processes the government is implementing to identify potential cost-cutting opportunities. The DoD turned to corporate America to see how to manage its current assets. Of course, corporate America normally is dealing with a small amount of buildings. However, the military is dealing with entire cities to try to manage its resources. It developed an asset management program that can identify the facilities and requirements, which is my second slide, that goes through exactly identifying every single building, what the cost of that building, how many people are in that building, and what the energy use is in that building. First, it identifies what the base actually owns. Then it looks at the asset's condition. Then the worth of how important it is to the base and to its mission. It looks at the needs and what it takes to maintain each facility on base. It also looks at what the remaining service life of that building. If it's too old, then we need to tear it down. Finally, it will address what needs to be fixed first so that we put our money where we need to get it to fix the most important things. After the base identifies its requirements, it can begin to find ways to reduce costs associated with them requirements. The DoD has identified things that it can cut quickly, which is my third one, my third visual aid. First, they looked at reducing the level of service required for an installation. The cost associated with custodial is large, and with the occupant doing its own cleaning of each facility, we can completely eliminate custodial services. Then it looked at grounds maintenance. Can we reduce again grounds maintenance by the occupant doing simple things such as mowing and doing things around each facility. We got to lower our standards. We can't say that our grass can only be 1.5 inches anymore. We need to say, okay, maybe we can let it grow a little bit taller. Then we look at refuge. There is a possibility of recycling more. The more we recycle, this is requiring less service to take out our trash. We have less times that the actual trashman needs to pick up our trash at the facilities. And of course, if the number of buildings are reduced, then the total cost of the facility would also be saved. A program was created to identify all workers in a facility and determine where people could be moved to the most efficient buildings. Once people are moved from high-cost facilities, they can demolish the facilities that are no longer being used. Energy efficiency was also identified, showing with little cost energy we could be reduced. And that brings us to our last visual aid here, which is ways to lower energy. By installing water-saving devices, water could be cut. Another measure would be to maintain strict temperature control throughout a facility. Our thermostats being controlled by an outside entity instead of each individual being able to program his own temperature. Lighting was determined to be a large energy hog. By buying different lights, we could reduce it just by buying energy efficient light bulbs. Lastly, by installing automatic cutoff devices for lights, the human tendency to not shut off a light would be eliminated. Have an automatic device to actually shut it off for us. Finally, let's look at what it takes to make cost savings a reality. Buy-in to the cost saving measures to come from all members of the installation. Great efforts are being made to educate everyone in the process of being implemented. The DoD is counting on base leaders to implement strict standards. All users will be held accountable for violations to cost savings measures. The process also requires commitment to continue and maintain the new standards. The base needs to strive to do less with less. Now let's recap what I explained to you. Today I have informed you about the costs driving DoD to change how it does business, to include how it is identified, how it can be reduced, and how it will take commitment to operate our military bases. The truth is, everything at an installation needs to make changes now because budget cuts have already been implemented and we can't afford to have our infrastructure fail. Thank you.